When you examine the NFL, it becomes obvious how many different philosophies are at play when building a team. Some teams go heavy in the passing game and have a true air raid offense, while other teams heavily invest in the defensive side of the ball and focus on the rushing attack. Of these options, San Francisco clearly chose the later one, because their defense is one of the best across the entire league thanks to their heavy investment on their defensive line. But their rushing attack is no joke either. And while it's currently CMC that's picking up the bulk of the carries, in the past, San Francisco has seen great production out of guys like Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida. Despite this success, across the board basically, when you look at San Francisco's running backs, San Francisco hasn't always remained committed to their true identity. Like in this recent Ravens game, they threw nearly 50 times while not giving CMC enough carries in my opinion. But here's the thing, all's not lost for San Francisco, because the next week, going against the Washington Commanders, Kyle Shanahan realized his true identity, running the ball. And he did it whether Christian McCaffrey was in there, Elijah Mitchell was in there, or Jordan Mason. I loved his ability to utilize a stable of backs. And now with Christian McCaffrey out against the Rams, Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason both are expected to pick up heavier loads in this game. So in this video, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason's most recent game against the Washington Commanders, and really examine how they can be beneficial not just in this next game against the Rams, but deep into the playoffs to establish San Francisco's identity going forward. The first thing that becomes obvious when examining San Francisco's backfield to me is the amount of versatility they have back there. Whether you're looking at their starting back, Christian McCaffrey, who's a guy who can really do it all, or even when you're looking at the backups, Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell are both pretty complete backs. But that isn't to say each one doesn't bring a unique skill set, which I believe Kyle Shanahan can utilize effectively in the playoffs. For instance, when I look at a guy like Jordan Mason, I think he might be San Francisco's best short yardage back. And when CMC left the field with an injury, Elijah Mitchell took his place and we didn't even see a drop off in production. And maybe more importantly, Mitchell made several plays on the day. For instance, when you're watching this play, San Francisco is trying to get the outside edge, but Mitchell can clearly see he has it all contained, so he bounces back inwards and his tough running picks up San Francisco extra yardage. Kyle Shanahan has even spoke about in the past how often he'll call a play thinking that Mitchell only picked up, let's say, 3 yards, but he actually picked up more like 6 yards thanks to this aggressive running style. On this next play, you can clearly see what I'm talking about. 93 has Mitchell dead in his rights, but thanks to Mitchell keeping his legs churning and having great vision, he's able to actually pick up the first down, picking up 11 yards on this play. But that's not the only thing that sets Mitchell apart from other San Francisco running backs. His 40-yard dash of 4.3 seconds comes into play time and time again on the field. Here, for example, he's able to utilize that speed to get the defender to actually have really bad angle on him, and then cutting it back inside helps him pick up that additional yardage. You'll see him time and time again, as I mentioned for Mitchell. Maybe my most favorite part about this game though, it gave me confidence in Elijah Mitchell's health. I know he's been injured most of this year and honestly most of his career, but in this game he looked explosive, and on plays like this he was able to shoot through tiny gaps and maintain his balance and get pretty good gains. Here, for example, Mitchell is facing 3rd and 1, and despite the defense getting almost immediate penetration, Mitchell's basically able to shove that guy off. And once again, thanks to his vision and cutting it back inside on the defense, he's able to pick up 4 when really he probably should have been stopped in the backfield. But thanks to Mitchell keeping this drive alive on 3rd and 1, only a few plays later, he would be able to get his first rushing touchdown of the entire year. And while it is his first, I do expect Mitchell to be utilized more heavily in the playoffs, especially if this injury for Christian McCaffrey lingers. But even if Christian McCaffrey came back, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of Mitchell. He makes guys just miss in the open field, and when he finally is wrapped up, he falls forward every single time. I also think Elijah Mitchell offers a ton of creativity for Kyle Shanahan. He could put Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey on the field at the same time. Fake like he's running to Christian McCaffrey, and then maybe come back and dump off a screen pass to Elijah Mitchell. And while I think Elijah Mitchell is a great back, I don't think he's the only one that San Francisco should utilize more. Also, Jordan Mason is an absolute freak every time he goes in. He's always facing these boxes that are just designed to stop the run, but nonetheless, every time it seems like he picks up around 5. Overall, when I look at San Francisco, I believe their success in the playoffs really hinges on Kyle Shanahan's ability to continue to stick with their identity, which is rushing the ball. Every time he goes away from it, San Francisco seemingly struggles. However, it does appear that Kyle Shanahan has a renewed commitment in this recent game against the Washington Commanders to run the ball and run it a lot. And I mean, honestly, if San Francisco is able to remain this committed to the rushing attack, no team can stop them. Even the Ravens were giving up 7 yards a carry to Christian McCaffrey. Ultimately though, these are just my thoughts on San Francisco's rushing attack and the importance of Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason headed into this LA Rams game, and more importantly, into the playoffs. And I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.